Hej och hjärtligt välkomna hit idag. Jag heter Ann-Therese och jag är vd på Futurion och har initierat och arrangerar och står som värd för det här eventet här idag. Så härligt att se att så många har tagit tid att komma hit idag. Vi ska alldeles strax avnjuta, får man väl ändå säga, ett samtal om makten i maskinen och hur vi krossar det glastaket som nu håller på att byggas mitt framför oss, skulle jag vilja säga. Men jag skulle inleda med att säga att vi på Futurion, vi jobbar ju med framtidens arbetsliv. Då får man ju ganska mycket frågor om både det ena och det andra. Men framförallt så just nu är det väldigt svårt att prata om framtidens arbetsliv utan att behöva svara på frågor om AI. Det finns mycket funderingar kring AI. Och när vi pratar om AI så pratar vi framförallt ganska lite om själva tekniken. Vi pratar framförallt om framtidens infrastruktur. Vi pratar om möjligheterna för makt, påverkan och inflytande i den nya världen egentligen som formar framför oss. Och vi måste nämligen våga ställa oss frågan: vems erfarenheter, vems perspektiv och vems kroppar helt enkelt är det som just nu byggs in i den värld som vi närmar oss? Historiskt så har vi ganska många klassiska exempel på vad som har hänt när kvinnor inte inkluderas i utvecklingen. Många av er här inne känner till det historiska klassiska exemplet med krockdockorna. Mitt älsklingsexempel att ändå ta. Men man behöver påminna sig ändå ibland hur jäkla fel det har gått genom åren. På 50-talet när trafiksäkerheten då skulle designas fram så designades den och skräddarsyddes ut efter en kropp som var 177 centimeter lång och vägde typ 76-78 kilo. Typ en karl alltså. Så var det i 50-60 års tid. Innan vi började få de första kvinnliga krockdockorna. Ni förstår under hur lång tid som kvinnor också blev i kollisioner och i dödsolyckor. Den statistiken är ju inte smickrande. Långt ifrån. Utan så är det så det blir när produkter utvecklas av och för män. Och vi ser ju faktiskt samma sak i olika berättelser som skrivs om oss just nu. Jag vet inte, några vet hur upprörd jag blir varje gång jag pratar om filmen Oppenheimer. Det var ju då, jag vet inte, är det många som har sett den? Ja, då vet ni vad jag pratar om. Och ni som inte har sett den, ser den inte. Alltså den är sjukt tråkig, det är 2 timmar och som du aldrig får tillbaka ett liv igen. Så nu ska jag spoila den helt. Men det är så här att jag blev väldigt upprörd, med många med mig förstås, för man upptäckte att det tog ungefär, för första så tog det 20 minuter in i filmen innan den första kvinnan överhuvudtaget uppenbarade sig in i filmen. Det fine, så det är en sak. Men framförallt de kvinnor som uppenbarade så fick vara typ till oss som var med i filmen. Nej, men de framställdes, de framstående forskarna som deltog i det här projektet framställdes som sekreterare och assistenter till de här andra högt stående forskarna. Det var helt galet, vilket gjorde många världen runt väldigt upprörda förstås, med fog för det. Då ska vi ändå ha med oss att Maria Meijer, som ändå spelade en avgörande roll i det här projektet, hon hon förärades med Nobelpriset. Men i filmen så blev det snarare en assistent. Och ni förstår ju vad som händer när kvinnor helt enkelt suddas ut. Vi förlorar ju inte bara en historiebeskrivning. Vi förlorar ju faktiskt också en framtidstro. Och det jag blir förbaskad över, det är att vi berövar de unga kvinnorna en möjlighet att ha förebilder. Förebilder som forskare, entreprenörer, ingenjörer. Nu hittar jag inte på några fler som rimmar. Men det är de framtida förebilderna som vi berövas, och det gör mig jätteupprörd. För vi står faktiskt inför ett nytt Oppenheimer-momentum. Ett nytt Oppenheimer-ögonblick skulle jag vilja säga. Och det är på grund av AI. Det är en brytpunkt vi står inför nu, där vi ska få tillgång till en teknik som kommer förändra världen och våra arbeten och våra liv i grunden i mångt och mycket. Då, på Oppenheimer-tider, så handlar det om tillgången och möjligheten till kärnvapen. Idag handlar det om kod. En slags kodad makt som kommer avgöra hur vi kommer få inflytande, vilka resurser vi kommer få, besluten som kommer ta, vem som får möjligheterna och den som inte får. Framtidens villkor formas nu. Och faran är ju precis då, som nu, att det går så snabbt att vi inte riktigt begriper vad vi håller på med, skulle jag vilja säga. För nu rullas AI ut i arbetslivet, i politiken. Det rullas ut i skola och vård och omsorg utan att vi helt enkelt fullt förstår konsekvenserna. Precis som på Oppenheimer-tiden, skulle jag vilja säga. För det är ju bråttom. Det går snabbt som 17. Och några få aktörer har makten att forma framtiden. Och vi vet ju, många av oss här inne, vi har erfarenhet av att AI tränas på data som är redan ojämlik. Och det som inte finns i datan, de finns inte heller i framtiden. Så ser det ut. Och då riskerar vi att skriva in strukturella felkoder i generationer framöver. Det är därför vi sitter här idag. Och det var mycket därför vi för många år sedan skrev en bok som heter Felkod Kvinna. Några av er såg den där ute. Då med liksom tanken att mycket utifrån digitaliseringen, där att vi behövde vara med och forma digitalisering. Vi behövde tvärsektorella och tvärvetenskapliga team. Vi behövde ställa obekväma frågor. Vi skulle se till att vara med i innovation och utvecklingsarbete, för vi måste forma digitaliseringen. Det var den viktiga brinnande frågan då. Och några tog också fanan då, inte minst, jag vet att Vision sitter här inne, ett fackförbund som var otroligt snabba på att tänka så här, den feministiska digitaliseringen som vi lyfte i boken, ja men det tar vi, för vi ska ge makten till våra medlemmar att forma sina arbetsliv och arbetsplatser. Så man gjorde en fantastiskt fin utbildning under många år för sina yngre medlemmar. Jättesmart, jättebra, sjukt smart. I alla fall, så den feministiska digitaliseringen har ju blivit nästan en, otroligt viktigt för oss att fortsätta hålla i. Men nu växer ju AI fram, som sagt, och det växer som en rörelse. Det är en idé som finns och spirar, den är internationell också. Att AI faktiskt kan designas med värderingar om frihet och rättvisa och jämlikhet i grunden. Och det är så himla läckert. Det går ju faktiskt. Och Alexandra, som snart ska komma upp och få prata mer om det, kommer ge exempel på att det finns AI-plattformar som faktiskt bär de här värderingarna idag. De är alldeles för få, men de finns. Kanske finns nämnda exempel om en medicinsk diagnostik som använder syntetisk data för att helt enkelt skydda integritet, där både kön och ålder och etnicitet raderas. Just för att man ska få korn på skillnader i olika vårdinsatser. Fantastiskt, det finns idag. Men mitt budskap är helt enkelt att självklart så behöver vi fler kvinnor som formar AI rent tekniskt. Vi behöver bli fler AI-specialister. Det är en skev fördelning idag, typ 80-20. Elin som snart ska komma upp, hon kanske har bättre statistik än jag, men det är en väldigt skev fördelning mellan kvinnor och män som jobbar konkret inom AI. Men för mig är det ännu viktigare att vi får se till att vi får inflytande i hela innovationskedjan. Vi ska vara med i forskningen, i designen, vi ska vara med i beslut, i rummen där besluten tas. Annars riskerar vi bara att replikera den här historiska speglingen hela tiden, och som vi kodar in och låser fast för generationer framöver. Så det finns ett momentum. Och vi ska se till här, tycker jag, efteråt när vi pratar tillsammans ännu mer, att vi ser till att AI blir en motor just för en mer rättvis värld och en bättre och schysstare arbetsplats. Ja, ska vi inte sätta igång? Jag är inte sugna på det nu. Så jag skulle faktiskt välkomna upp min kollega Rebecka som ska vara samtalsledare här idag. Välkommen Rebecka och kör igång.
Tack så jättemycket för den inledningen som verkligen sätter tonen för hela det här samtalet. I'm now going to switch into English because this panel will be held in English because of our distinguished guest from Germany. So welcome to this panel on AI, gender equality and the future of work. My name is Rebecka Prantell and I work as a project manager at Futurion, and I will also be the moderator of this conversation. So we are joined today by some powerful voices from the world of tech and labor, and I would like now to welcome to the stage Alexandra Wudel, founder of FemAI, in Berlin. Warm welcome to you, and also Elin Eriksson. From Women in Tech Sweden, who are also co-hosting this event. And we're so delighted to have all of you here, and also Atte, you will join in on the conversation. So let us dive straight in. I'm curious about power. I'm curious about the AI agenda. And I would like to start with a very small question of who is currently holding the power over the AI agenda, and how can we shift it? What can we do about it? Alexandra, you're laughing. You're smiling.
So when I open social media, the news, the narratives of AI are dominated by US-wide tech bros. And I think we do have some forces coming up in Asia as well. But by the example of social media, we see that a few people moderate content that 8 billion people see. And in AI, it's even less people deciding what most of us create, think, how we regulate, how much we pay people, how we detect cancer. And I think that might be a problem.
I might agree.
You might agree, Elin.
Might agree on that.
Would you like to elaborate on that?
I'm just going to echo what Atte said before about how many women are working in AI. And we don't really know, but it's between 20 and 30% from what my sources tell me. So it kind of differs. How do you define what's working with AI and not? Because we probably all use ChatGPT every now and then to just make sure our emails are good. But those who are actually developing the services right now is probably down to the 22%. So, yeah, who has the power of AI?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do we shift it?
I mean, it was really interesting to see what happened on that weekend in November in 2022 when ChatGPT was publicly available. And so many men that I know dropped everything they had. And that's where they spent their weekend. That was with ChatGPT, and the following weeks as well. Well, me and some other female fellows, we just kept things going and running like usual. We did not drop everything to add all our questions and all our data into ChatGPT and OpenAI. And that sort of continued. So the first months, everyone who was giving their data to OpenAI was a lot of guys. It was not the women. And I think that is, unfortunately, where we still are. There are so many more men that are using their own time to educate themselves and to dive into and just try and play and do stuff with a lot of more different tools that are available now. And I think that's a problem, because that says something about who has the time to play with the technology or who takes the time to play with the technology, who allows themselves to do that. And I think playfulness is such a great way to get into innovation and to start doing stuff. So I would urge everyone to play more with AI and everything, just to open your mind for that.
And we see that in our data as well, that women are a lot more cautious, waiting for education, waiting to get permission to use the tools. What do you say, Ann-Therese, about this gender division in using AI and what that has to do with power?
Yeah, of course it has, because it's like Elin just said, that it's the data is like full of the men's perspective all the time. So so we at our workplaces, we have to be more as a leader or a boss or whatever. You have to make sure that women at your workplace really tries and give them the policies they need just to start using, in this case, LLMs.
And if I may add to that, ignore the stats. We need to ignore the stats, because if we think about the stats, how many data scientists are women? It's not really motivating. We don't have role models. When we go into funding AI startups, just 2% of global VC volume flows into female-led companies. But anyways, do it. So the only way is ignoring the stats.
Yeah.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah, that's powerful. But Alexandra, if you can you elaborate on this idea about feminist AI and in your company, in your organization, what kind of change are you hoping to bring?
So first of all, I need to be very transparent that we founded a second company called FemAI because the ones holding power and venture capital are not feminist per se. So we needed to change the strategy, but that's nothing we communicate very transparent. But I think that's a good room to speak about that because we need to be very strategic currently. And on the one hand, I'm a feminist by heart. On the other hand, I want to make business, impact business. And for that, we need to find allies in different camps and from our research. So I'm also here because these wonderful women heard about my research paper, our research paper, What is a Feminist AI? We were able to define that because we developed a research method that is able to predict fairness in AI development to scale it. And what we can change, and that's one of the main outcomes, is cross-sectoral dialogues and starting with projects that might seem too complex, but are the only way to change the system. Because what we currently see, and this is why the system is failing, mostly driven by the US, technology develops too fast. So imagine when we focus on medicine. I don't know how the testing is in Sweden, but in Germany it's at least 10 years of testing before it is allowed to be publicly sold on the market. We need something similar for AI because most people don't know what effects it has in our society. Look at social media. I mean, the rates amongst young women having eating disorders or young men claiming suicide rose significantly since we launched social media. So as a society, we don't want that. And as a society, the only thing we can do, because if you lay down your job profile, you're still a human being, right? So we need to work together cross-sector and find ways to fund projects.
I'm so happy to hear that you're doing this. Because this is so needed. Sorry.
And Elin, I'm thinking about like all the insights that you have gathered through the years and in your latest report that are focused insights collected from thousands of women in tech. What do you think are the most important key findings that needs action, either political or technical or cultural? I don't know. What are your data telling you about current progress?
I think actually what we do is that we have an annual survey to the 30,000 members in the Women in Tech Sweden community. And this year we had 3,000 people answering that survey. Most of them are women, but every gender is welcome as a member. But the most striking thing is I really want to challenge the narrative that it's so tough for women to work in tech, because our women who work in tech, they love working in tech. They thrive in tech. And they think it's really fun, and they love it because it's so hard. It's hard because it's challenging intellectually, and you can use your full intellectual capacity to solve really tricky problems, and you can do that in a way that might also contribute something to the society. So women love working in tech. I think that's something that we need to speak about much, much more, because when we speak about role models, if you can see it, you can easier be it. And if we always speak about how tough it is, how few women there are in the industry, and it's so hard, why would I tell my niece to go into tech?
Yeah,
we love it. It's fun. We do something that's important and exciting.
Paid well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always a good motivation.
But something that I also want to highlight is that when we ask who would you as a member think is responsible for diversity, equity and inclusion in the tech industry, and they get to choose between academia and politicians and the world of business and they themselves as an individual, 70% points to the businesses. And very few people think that they themselves have the responsibility. And I don't know if that is that you put so much trust in like the companies, or if you think that you don't have the ability or the capacity to do that yourself. That's actually a question that would be interesting to look further into. But it's tough because politics don't get that much attention in that way, and not the academia either. And maybe that's because businesses can move faster. And we need speed right now.
So what is your kind of the future scenario that we're looking at here? What do you think the AI area will look like in the workplaces for women? What are we heading towards? Do you want to start, Elin?
Yeah, I was just checking out the report from PwC, their AI jobs barometer, and they very much point out that those who have already trained themselves in AI tools already have a better salary. And there are not that many diplomas to wait for. No one is going to tell you this is the education that you need and this is where you get your diploma, then you get employed. So it's very, very right now much up to the individual to just start doing. I think that is super interesting. But it also means that when someone asks us from Women in Tech, what kind of education should I go into? I don't really feel confident to say that the 5-year engineering training is the perfect way to go if you want a job right now.
So what are you telling them?
I'm struggling, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's really important to work closer to the industry, which we can do because we have so many partners. So now we're asking them, who are you even hiring? Are you hiring, or is everything agentic right now?
Yeah. Atte, what do you think about like the future
Of workplaces?
Workplaces?
I'm quite hopeful because though still women earn less than men, I know, but I believe it can change actually. Because we're starting to get a lot of new tools, and such as the EU Pay Transparency Directive, for example, that directive will force employers to show the real numbers, to put them on the table. There's no like hiding anymore. So that's one positive thing, I would say. And AI overall, we can analyze patterns and expose discrimination in a more quicker way and more precise. So therefore, I'm hopeful. But of course, tools are not enough. We need knowledge. We need jävlarna and sorry, we need strong.
By the way, I don't understand anything, but I think it's beautiful and really entertaining. Also, it has something so sweet. Yeah, I love it.
I'll try to translate that. Fighting spirit. Sorry.
I'm sorry, that's the best fucking translation. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I don't know. Fighting spirit. But we also.
By the way, what we have, right? What AI will never ever replace is like humor and these moments together. Like actually, yeah. Sorry.
No, but we also need, besides knowledge, we need strong unions as well, of course, just to turn the transparency into actions. So I believe we are like at a turning point right now. I'm very hopeful. I'm very positive. Transparency, data, and stubborn. What do you call it?
Stubbornness.
Stubbornness. Yeah.
Yeah. Grit also.
Oh.
Yeah. Alexandra, are you optimistic? What do you think about the future for women in the workplace?
So I've been to 2 events prior to this one in September. One was the European Innova Grand Pitch Final, where we were choosing one of the 12 final impact startups to receive the grant. And the second one was welcoming the PhD and master students from St. Gallen University last week. And the only chance we have is building our positive narrative. Like, giving up is not a way, right? I understand that. Sometimes I'm reading the news and I could cry, like, honestly, but that's not a way. So we need to build that positive narrative because it all starts with imagination. And if we think there is no way, there will be no way. And in tech, and that is why we wrote this paper, What is a Feminist AI? We have a world driven by data that ignores more than 50% of the people. Don't believe in the stats. I understand that in some areas it's very important to check the data, but question the data, or that's what we do your own study with allies. And then you will find out, oh, interestingly, there is a niche, there is a market for that. And I believe there's definitely a future for women in tech, because also the men are sick of the system, but they don't have a room to speak up. And it's like Simone de Beauvoir said, it's 50% the system, but it's 50% ourselves. And whenever I speak to men in tech, like if I have the moment to speak to them in a quiet surrounding, nobody likes this. Like, they do it because they think success is money. But when you speak to them on a different level, they're extremely exhausted. Working with technology is not good for humans majority of the workday. Like, the mind is not made for this fast progress. So what we normally need is work less hours a day, be more in the nature to recover. And that's the whole, like, let's go back to this. That's the whole idea of AI.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Have the machines do the boring stuff.
Where has this gone? Yeah. Like, why is nobody speaking about it? We should be happier since AI came.
Yeah.
But we're not. So something is going in a wrong direction. So what I really think is, and we do have studies that impact startups are more profitable. 50% of impact startups were led by women. Found your own company. If you're fucked up with the system, build your own. No, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, I get that, and you can, like, it's important to have allies or like people being inside systems, but I've worked for the German parliament, I did all of that, and I can just say, doing your own thing, although it's extremely hard, you can really have the impact. And especially for women, it's very hard in the beginning, but it's also the best method to have your care responsibilities and families like all under control.
And you have also proposed a certification for ethical AI. Can you tell me something more about what kind of real impact are you hoping that this would have on the industry?
Yeah, we're currently, so if you want to tag it, it's on the fem.ai, fem/ai.eu website. We just launched it 2 weeks ago, and it's a constant fairness monitoring platform for high-risk AI systems. This means that according to the EU AI Act Article 15, 43, 44, and 95, because I designed this regulation, I know it, you know. High-risk AI startups need to comply with certification if they are in certain industries. And high risk means it's actually a problem if they're not fair, like in facial recognition software, law enforcement, for instance. That's highly biased, racial bias, gender bias already. In healthcare, we don't have data about women nor children or elderly people. Like, it's not only a gender issue, it's like a whole societal issue. And we're building a platform that constantly monitors how accurate, that's the language of tech people, how accurate, so performance, right? It's a business impact, a return on invest. These systems perform for different user groups. And we developed this in the first narrative and now product, because that's the language of the people with power. And we also wrote a paper about how effectful EU AI regulation will be, and the enforcement really lacks. Like, there is no AI police. And now we're speaking with different AI startups if they want to use it, but also to investors, because this is a big project. I think it's going okay. It's going well. I'll be in Helsinki for Slash if anyone is here.
Oh, that's nice.
We'll be there as well.
Yeah.
Which feels closer to you than to my home.
I just wanted to give a quick shout out to any union people in the audience that this AI Act is really a great way to start a conversation with an employer and start negotiating what kind of systems you have in place on in your workplace.
May I add, Article 4 claims an AI officer. So every company using AI system needs to educate at least one person as an AI officer. That's law. So if you want to have an employer paid education, you can use Article 4 of the EU AI Act as a reason why. Yep.
And talking of, on the topic of impact, I'm curious, now over to you, Elin, again. You're working to disrupt biased recruitment, because that's like a huge issue with we're seeing AI agents who are not like who are very biased and being used at companies. What kind of strategies do you see that's actually working, like on the ground? How do you change this this problem?
Well, I think there are not that many companies that have actually dared to go full-scale AI on these, because the models are too flawed. Because we build in the biases that we already have. I mean, it's a lot of LLMs, of course. So what we put in is what we get out of it. So I think it's. I don't have any great examples of people who are actually really doing it. But of course, I think probably preaching to the choir right now to say that you probably know this already. You know that you can write ads in different ways to attract more women or more men. You know that you can describe how the work is done to attract more women and men. And yet the men sign up when they are 70% compatible, and women, they put in their effort and say, I could probably do this, when they're 150% compatible. So if that's the structure that we have right now, to build a system that is not in that way, it takes a lot of effort, and someone has to do that sort of investment to do it. And I don't think the companies are ready to do that yet. They would rather rely on their old systems.
Yeah, so I guess we have a startup idea. If we are going with like the narrative of then you just do it yourself and start your own company. Yes. Anyone is free to take this idea. It's clearly needed.
And since recruitment takes such a long time now, I think that's an industry ready to be disrupted.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah. Talking about disruption. Atte, over to you. And I was curious about. Not really curious, because I work at Futurion and I know the reports. But do you want to add something here on, like, because Futurion has does such a huge number of reports and a lot of work on the topics of AI, Gen Z, Gen Alpha values, working time. I mean, there's a smorgasbord here. What trends do you think do you want to highlight when it comes to the future of work?
Oh, what a question! It's like 2 more hours.
I'm sorry about it.
I'm so sorry, but it's good that you're mentioning our other reports. But they all show that the future work will be not all about technology, though. It shows that it's going to be a lot about our people. So that's how I would put it. And AI is changing our jobs right now, as we know. And the risk is, as we've been talking about earlier, is that it's deepening inequalities if we're not able to access the new skills. So access to new skills is a huge issue right now, topic. So, and we should be very interested in the new values that the younger generations are bringing to the workplaces. I think we should be better listeners because the new generation Alpha, that is not all, they're not ready yet to enter the workforce, but they are on their way, and they have totally different values than the generation Gen Z, for example. So you have to mix AI with their expectations of work life.
All right, I think we're ready to start to wrap up this discussion. And if you can just pick one thing from the talk today, what would you like to highlight? What do you think is important for the audience to bring home to their organization or their workplace? Elin, do you want to start?
I would say that I have two things. Start doing it. Start adding your data to all that big stack of large language models that we have. Start using it, start trying, just experiment with it, play with it, learn it that way, because skills and education is not the same. And right now skills are very, very much something you're promoted by. But also look at the gaps in your organizations or in your families. Who is trying and who are staying out of it? Because those gaps are widening and it's going really, really fast right now.
Thank you. Alexandra?
So to summarize it in one word, I would say invest. Like first in yourself, that's always the best investment. Skill yourself up. Second, you have 3 companies you can work with who want to design a better future. Do that. And third, also think about like your own stability. And because we are focusing on women in tech, I also need to say it's clever to invest in that, like in a lever in terms of stock market, because in the end it's a lot about building wealth in your life, being happy, but also being secure and not like rely on an environment that you don't like. So investing in yourself and projects and into the stock market makes a lot of sense right now.
Thank you. Ann-Therese?
Oh, I just hope that you got some new arguments, maybe some new inspiration and insights. And it's not about all. For me, it's more about you, you getting together, you talking, you connecting outside here. We're more drinks. So please take the opportunity to get new friends, new acquaintances, and so that you can do it together, because we have to do it together.
Yeah. Thank you so much to our amazing panel. Big round of applause. Yeah. So we've heard a lot about feminist tech, the hidden power in code, the visions of a work life where AI doesn't replicate inequality, but challenges it. Thank you so much again to our panelists. Please have a seat. Let's keep shaping the future together. And now, for something completely different. Nu tänker jag byta till svenska igen och välkomna upp Katarina Lundahl som är statssekreterare hos Jämställdhetsminister Nina Larsson. Varmt välkommen!
Tack så jättemycket, roligt att vara här.
Väldigt kul att ha dig. Jag tänkte ställa du har lyssnat på samtalet, jag tänkte ställa 2 korta rappa frågor till dig. Till att börja med, påverkar politiken AI-agendan?
Ja, allt går ju väldigt snabbt nu, som beskrevs här på ett bra sätt. Men det är klart att politiken har en roll. Det är ju en sak också vad som händer i företagen, men det är ju också lite en annan sak vad som händer i offentlig sektor. Och det är ju trots allt mer politikens hemmaplan. Och i näringslivet så är det ju väldigt mycket egna företag och lönsamhet och innovation och så som driver liksom utvecklingen. Men i offentlig sektor finns det ju väldigt många olika barriärer, det finns många olika risker. Så att där spelar ju, tror jag, politiken en väldigt stor roll för att komma framåt på ett säkert och hållbart sätt.
Just det. Nu vet jag att ni arbetar ju för fullt med de här frågorna på Regeringskansliet, men om du kan säga någonting ändå om hur regeringen betraktar just de här frågorna, AI och jämställdhet och framtidens arbetsliv.
Jag tror att i det stora perspektivet så ser man ju AI väldigt mycket som en konkurrenskraftsfråga, alltså tillväxt och så, att om vi inte ligger långt fram i AI, både vad det gäller forskning och att företag som tar till sig det, så halkar vi som land efter, så att säga. Så därför är det ju viktigt, vi satsar på forskning. Svenska företag verkar ju enligt EU-undersökningar ligga ganska bra till i att man tar till sig AI, men allting rör ju på sig. Så att det är ju liksom ett övergripande perspektiv. Men liksom min och jämställdhetsministerns mission i det här är ju att visst, konkurrenskraft är bra, men det blir ju inte hållbart och blir inte bra för samhället om det blir ensidigt. Om man bygger in fördomar, om man skapar ett samhälle som vi inte vill ha, så att säga, eller tjänster som leder oss fel, eller skapar en offentlig sektor som vi inte känner att vi kan lita på.
Just det.
Så att där är ju, det är inte bara jämställdhet, det handlar ju också om liksom mångfald och inkludering i ett lite bredare perspektiv. Det blir otroligt viktigt. Så att det är ju ett perspektiv som vi jobbar för att det verkligen ska vara närvarande i det arbete som nu pågår med att ta fram regeringens AI-strategi.
Just det. Ja, men det är en stor uppgift ni har framför er och det är många både värden men också värderingar som står på spel. Och jag tror att du kommer stanna kvar också lite och mingla vidare lite efter det här samtalet. För nu vill jag säga ett jättestort tack till er allesammans som har varit här och lyssnat. Tack till er som har följt seminariet på webben eller ser i efterhand. Tack så jättemycket.